The place was a small town in Massachusetts, North America. It was a cold evening in December 1862. Snow was falling softly in the living room of a small house. Four sisters were sitting by the fire. Their names were Meg, Jo, Beth, and Amy March. Meg was 16 years old, Jo was 15, Beth was 13 years old, and Amy was 12. Their mother, Mrs. March, was not in the house. She was visiting a poor sick family. Their father, Mr. March, was far away from home. It was wartime. Mr. March was working in a hospital for soldiers. The four sisters were knitting with wool. They were knitting socks for the soldiers. They worked and they talked. We are poor, said Meg, the eldest girl. It is terrible. Meg was very pretty. She had large eyes and soft brown hair. Other girls have lots of pretty things, said Amy, the youngest girl. Amy had golden hair and blue eyes. I hate girls' work and girls' things, said Jo. She was tall and thin. She had beautiful long red hair. I don't want to stay at home, she said. I want to fight in the war. Then Beth spoke. Yes, we are poor, she said, but we are lucky too. We have father and mother and we have each other. Beth was very shy. She was afraid of strangers, but she loved her family very much. Yes, we have each other, said Jo, and the girls were happy again. It's 6 o'clock, said Meg. Be quick, everybody, mother is coming. We must get supper ready. Jo brought more wood for the fire. Meg lit the lamps. Beth and Amy put the food on the table. The door opened and Mrs. March came into the room. Mrs. March was not beautiful, but she was very kind and good. Her daughters had a special name for her. They called her Marmee. How are you, my dears, said Mrs. March. Did you have a good day? Yes, thank you, Marmee, replied the four sisters. Come sit down by the fire, Marmee said. Meg, supper is ready. After supper, Mrs. March said, girls, I have a wonderful surprise. Everybody was excited. Is it a letter from father, asked Jo. Yes, replied Mrs. March. Father has a Christmas message for all of you. The girls read their father's letter. A few days later, it was Christmas Day. On Christmas morning, the girls woke early. Each girl had one present, a book from their mother. They ran downstairs. They wanted to thank her, but Mrs. March was not there. A special Christmas breakfast was on the table. There was lots of food and everybody was hungry, but the girls waited for their mother. They waited nearly an hour. At last, their mother came home. Merry Christmas, Marmee, the girls shouted. Come sit down. Let's eat breakfast. Merry Christmas, little daughters, said Mrs. March. Listen, I have something to tell you. There is a poor woman, Mrs. Mell. She lives in the town. She has 7 children. One is a baby. The Hummels house is very cold and they have no food. Will you give them a Christmas present? Will you give them your breakfast? All the girls were very hungry. For a moment, nobody spoke. Then Jo said, yes, we will, Marmee. Let's take the food to them now. It was early morning and it was cold. The girls walked quickly through the snow. They carried baskets of food and wood for the fire. The Mell family lived in one small room. The room was in a house near a river. The windows of the room were broken and there was no fire. Mrs. Mell lay in her bed. She was ill. The baby was crying and the children were cold and hungry. The Hummel children saw the March sisters and the baskets of food. They shouted happily, thank you, they shouted. The girls made a fire and they put the food on the table. Mrs. March made some tea. Soon the room was warm. The hungry children ate the food and they laughed. Later, Mrs. March and her daughters went home. They had bread and milk for breakfast, but they were very happy. The March sisters often acted in plays. Jo wrote the plays. The girls acted in a small room at the top of the house. They put on brightly colored clothes and they enjoyed themselves. On Christmas evening, the girls acted in a play. All their friends came. Everybody enjoyed the play. Later, their friends went home and the girls had a lovely surprise. Mrs. March called to them. Supper is ready, she said. The girls ran downstairs. They saw lots of delicious food on the table, cakes, sweets, fruit, and ice cream. Where did this lovely food come from, Marmee? Amy asked. Mrs. March smiled. Old Mr. Lawrence sent it, she replied. Old Mr. Lawrence, our neighbor, asked Meg. She was surprised. But we don't know him, she said. He heard about your breakfast, said Mrs. March. He has sent you a special Christmas supper. The girls looked at each other. This is a wonderful Christmas, Beth said. Next to the March's small house there was a large house. The sisters called this house the Lawrence house. It belonged to their neighbor, Mr. Lawrence. Mr. Lawrence was old and he was very rich. His house was very beautiful. He lived in the house with his grandson. His grandson was 15, the same age as Jo. Sometimes the March sisters saw Mr. Lawrence's grandson, but the boy was always alone. A few days after Christmas, Jo was in her garden. She was wearing boots and an old coat. Jo was busy. She was sweeping snow from the path with a broom. Jo looked up at the Lawrence house. She saw a face looking out of a window. It was Mr. Lawrence's grandson. The boy is sad. He is lonely, thought Jo. Then she had an idea. She took some snow and she made a ball with it. She threw the ball at the window. The boy laughed and he opened the window. Hello, called Jo. Are you ill? I was ill last week, said the boy. I'm better now, but I'm very bored. I am not doing anything. I'll visit you, said Jo. Yes, please come, said the boy. A few minutes later, Jo knocked on the door of the Lawrence house. She was carrying a small basket. The basket was full of apples and cakes. The boy opened the door and Jo gave him the basket. These things are for you, she said. They are from my mother. Thank you very much, said the boy. Please come in. My name is Laurie and you're Jo, aren't you? Yes, said Jo. She was very surprised. How do you know my name? I know your name, said Laurie. I know all your sisters' names. You call to each other in your garden. Sometimes I see you with your mother. Laurie said sadly, I have no mother. My parents are dead, so I live here with my grandfather, but my grandfather is not at home today. Laurie is rich, but he's very lonely, thought Jo. I am poor, but I have a family and I have a happy home. Please visit us, said Jo. We are neighbors. Let's be friends too. Jo and Laurie talked all afternoon. afternoon, Joe talked about her family. Laurie talked about his life. He did not go to school. A teacher, Mr. Brooke, came to the house every day. Mr. Brooke taught Laurie his lessons. Come into our library, said Laurie. We have many fine books in the library. The library was a beautiful room with big windows. There were hundreds of interesting books on the shelves. There were many fine pictures on the walls. What a wonderful room, said Joe. Suddenly Laurie and Joe heard a noise. Grandfather has come home, said Laurie. I must go to him. Please stay here. Laurie went out of the library. Joe stood by the fire. There was a picture of old Mr. Lawrence on the wall. Joe looked at the picture. The door of the library opened, but she did not turn round. Laurie, she said, Mr. Lawrence, your grandfather is not handsome, but he has a kind face. I like him. Thank you, said a voice. Joe turned around quickly. Mr. Lawrence was standing near the door. Oh, she said, I'm sorry, so I'm not handsome, asked Mr. Lawrence. Well, no, sir, but I have a kind face. Yes, you do, sir, replied Joe. Mr. Lawrence laughed. I knew your grandfather. He said he was a good man. Now have some tea. Laurie was very happy. Laurie and Joe drank tea and they talked. Mr. Lawrence watched them. My grandson is happy. He thought he was lonely. He must have some friends. Later, Joe went home. She told her mother and her sisters about the Lawrences' beautiful house. Marmy, please let Laurie visit us, she said. Yes, dear, replied Mrs. March. Your new friend Laurie will be welcome in our house. Laurie and the March sisters became good friends. They visited each other often. They had many happy days together. Everybody liked Laurie and his grandfather. Meg, Joe, and Amy all went to the Lawrence house. Meg loved flowers and gardens. She liked the garden at the Lawrence house very much. It was winter and there were no flowers, but there was snow on the trees. They were very beautiful. Joe wrote plays and stories and she loved books. She liked the library at the Lawrence house. Amy liked the library too. She painted pictures. She liked the paintings on the library walls, but Beth did not visit the Lawrence house. She was very shy. She was afraid of old Mr. Lawrence. Beth did not go to school. She learned her lessons at home. Beth's life was quiet, but she was very happy. She helped her mother with the housework. She learned her lessons every day. Beth loved music. The Marches had a piano, but it was very old. Beth tried to play the piano, but the music did not sound very good. One day Mr. Lawrence spoke to Mrs. March. Do your daughters play the piano? He asked. Beth plays the piano. Mrs. March replied, I have a beautiful piano, said Mr. Lawrence, but nobody plays it now. Will Beth come to my house? Will she play the piano? Beth is very shy, Mrs. March said. Laurie and I are often out of the house, said Mr. Lawrence. Beth must come, then we will not hear her playing the piano. Mrs. March told Beth the news. Beth was very happy and excited. She wanted to play Mr. Lawrence's piano. The next day Beth went to the Lawrence house. The house was very quiet. Good, thought Beth. Everybody is out of the house. The piano was in the living room. Beth walked very quietly into the room. She touched the piano. How beautiful it is, she thought. Some pages of music were lying on top of the piano. Beth looked at the pages. The music was not difficult, so she started to play. Beth played the piano for many hours. She enjoyed herself very much. After that she went to the Lawrence house every day. Sometimes Mr. Lawrence was in the house. He often listened to the music, but Beth never saw him. A few weeks passed. One day Beth spoke to her mother. Marmy, she said, I want to thank Mr. Lawrence. He has been very kind. I will give him a present. Shall I knit a pair of slippers for him? Yes, Beth replied. Mrs. March, that's a very good idea. Beth bought some wool and she made a